Hello adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are in Bowie, Texas, a place that I called home for several years, and I'm going to show you why you should make this your next roadside stop if you're ever in North Texas. I think that this kind of goes to start us off pretty well. All of the murals in downtown. In fact, if you come to Bowie, Texas, there are tons of these. They've started an improvement project here where they're doing some pretty massive pieces of art that are absolutely awesome and perfect to take a picture next to, whether it's you or your van. So you can just drive through the alleys, park, and then get a picture. That's super cool, right? But there's something else here also that you won't want to miss. In fact, Bowie is chock full of historic facts also. So it's a great place to pull in off of Highway 287. And you can stop at a place like the one that I am right now to see this. In fact, if you're looking for a little bit of history, you'll find historic markers like this one scattered kind of around town. And we are currently located across the road from the Longhorn Restaurant, which has a delicious buffet that you'll want to try. Now, here you'll find this site right here that states that Montague County was actually created in 1857 and named after Daniel Montague. And that's how we say it here in Texas. I know in Romeo and Juliet they say it Montague, but this is how we say it here in Texas. In fact, there are several words that we say here in Montague County that might be a little different than you might assume. The name of the town itself. A lot of people call it Bowie after David Bowie, or they call it Bowie because it's B-O-W, but in fact it is Bowie. And it was named after somebody pretty neat, but we'll get to that in just a minute. First, let's finish checking out this park. At this pull-off, you'll find a map of the Chisholm Trail that ran straight through this area, in addition to some pretty interesting information. Now, what was the Chisholm Trail, you might be asking? Now, for those who are not familiar with the Chisholm Trail was a way that they would move cattle through cattle drives from Texas up into northbound states. And it happened for many, many years and passed through Bowie, Texas, as well as several other North Texas towns. Now, this was a way for them to do a lot of progress when it came to really defining what ultimately became the whole entire central region and also the westward push in the United States. Now, this sign is a little bit harder to read, but this basically goes to talk about that one of the governors of the state of Texas actually called Montague County his home. And this tells a little bit more about his story right here. Whew, but we're not finished yet. It is a warm day here in Texas, and I have one big, huge, whopping thing that I haven't showed you yet, but I'm about to. This is the namesake of Bowie. Where did it come from? Why is it here? Why do you need to come into Bowie, and what's the real attraction here? You're gonna be mind blown by this one, guys. Let's drive out to the rodeo grounds. Well, I say rodeo grounds, but in reality it's a part of the city complex where they have park system, a rodeo grounds, and also something they call Second Monday, which is a monthly, basically like Trader's Village where you can go out there and purchase all sorts of cool stuff. Okay guys, we have arrived at the rodeo grounds. That's right, the rodeo grounds. Now, every year they host what is called the Jim Bowie Rodeo Days, and it's held right here as you first come in to town from 287 on the same exit as our local Walmart. It's a really cool place if you're looking for that authentic, like, country western feel, because rodeos are the truest form of what once was. Right here you will find inside these gates, whenever they're doing the rodeo, the mutton busting, bull riding, roping, all sorts of other interesting antics. But notice Jim Bowie. Jim Bowie, this is a name, again, we're going to talk about how we say it versus how others say it. Well, the reason why Bowie is named Bowie is because of Mr. Jim Bowie. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that and show you something awesome. In fact, it's just right over here. In fact, we're going to put the van in drive across the little parking area where they hold the trade days every month, and right on the other side there is a parking area for the world's largest Bowie knife. Oh, we're here, here we go. Let's go check out this amazing roadside attraction here in Bowie, Texas. Here it is. Oh my goodness. Look at how big this thing is. This thing is amazing. And just in case there were any questions about it being the biggest, check this out. Here you will find the official Guinness World Records certificate, deeming this the largest Bowie knife, and with all of its exact measurements on here. It was named this on April 8th, 2016, and ever since, the town of Bowie has been one for the record books. All around the display you will find information and signs telling the story of this area, Montague County, and Bowie itself, but also this man right here, Jim Bowie, the man for which the city of Bowie was named after. It's pretty interesting to hear the story of how small towns are made, but not often do they celebrate and honor that with the world's largest Bowie knife. Now, why did they pick Jim Bowie to name the town after? Well, they thought of him as a war hero because of his work that he had done in helping to create Texas. He was one of the first, like, mountain men who came down here to help defend what we now call Texas. And whether you like this chapter of history or not, that's fine. But the fact is, he was honored, like many others at that time, with a town being named after him in the state of Texas. So that's why this is pretty significant. It's just one of those things that brings people off the highway, yes, but it has a little bit of the history that's sprinkled around for all to see. And I really, really love that, because it allows people who are coming to this town for the first time to get a glimpse into why this town exists, what it was named after, and also the proper pronunciation. Of course, well beyond the life of Jim Bowie himself, there were several other things that happened here in Texas, including the Chisholm Trail and other cattle trails that were going through the state in order to get cattle to other locations. So here's a small map of some of those that ran through this county. And of course, if you're interested in a little bit more of this information, you can also go and check out my museum that I did over in Nocona, Texas, where I expand a little bit more on the earliest days of Montague County and also the formation of some of the communities. But we're not finished yet. Why is this knife here? Who made it happen? Well, around the base you'll find some of those people and businesses that have made it happen. All of these community members who wanted to see something really cool here in Bowie and have since helped with the creation of the different portions of it. From the base all the way up to the knife, somebody has to be the wheels behind the machine. But there's one man who was the driving force. And it was this guy right here, Bob Hadley. He had the idea to make the knife happen. And Bob has a pretty cool history right here as well that you'll want to check out. Definitely come and read the signs, guys. But if you're really interested in the process of the knife being put here, you'll also want to check out this accompanying board. There are tons of photos here and something kind of special. You guys know on the channel I love a good QR code. Well, this one actually links you to the sign-in registry, so you can scan this and then sign in, and people can tell where you're from no matter where you come from across the world, and that's kind of cool. I love that they've added this because it shows you what it looks like from start to finish. When they poured the pad, when they put in the securing bolts, and even whenever they marked off the actual site out here, and what it looked like before. They made a replica of the knife before it was actually a knife, so that's kind of cool. Another thing they have here, one of the schematic drawings, and then they even have the thermometer, which they put up to raise the money to make the knife happen. Now, a lot of times whenever we come to sites, we notice that they have a cool attraction, but we don't know what goes into them. So this board right here tells us the entire story from the man who had the idea all the way up to how they raised the money. So this is definitely a place that you will want to check out when you come to Bowie, Texas. And I love that they've done this. I think it's just so neat, especially considering I travel all over the world looking for places like this. To know that one is in my very backyard and I get to share it with you guys, super cool. I hope you have enjoyed coming along with me to my hometown, Bowie, Texas, and seeing why you should definitely stop here if you are ever driving across North Texas, happen to be on 287, and need a good stretch break. In addition to the things I showed you, there are some great restaurants, some wonderful businesses, and some amazing people. Till next time, guys, bye!